Hello, guys. My name is Anthony Frazer, and welcome. I am going to be breaking down my songs for my new EP, Liminal. The first one is Midnight. Telling me things I already know, like you can pack your shit and go if you want to. I've cried so many times before. Now I don't love you because I won't cry anymore. Telling me things I already know. I already know. Like you can pack your shit and go if you want to. I've cried so many times before. Now I don't love you cause I won't cry anymore. I feel like in the beginning of this song, I'm really like setting the tone for like where we're at in the relationship. Obviously, we're at the end of the relationship. We've come to the breaking point, and it's kind of like you're arguing about things constantly, and it's like, I already know about all these things. Just leave. Like, get out, get your shit, go. I don't want to deal with this anymore. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very narcissistic of a person being in a relationship that it's like, oh, you don't love me no more because you're not crying about me. You don't miss me. You don't want to be around me anymore. It's like, well, because I'm over it. Like, we've played this game so many times that it's just kind of like played out at this point. And then we get into the chorus. It's just about midnight. Keep your goodbyes, I'll be all right. Played your games, but they backfired. When I'm the villain in the story, I'll be fine. Cause baby, you're mine too. It's just about midnight. Keep your goodbyes, I'll be alright. Played your games, but they backfired. When I'm the villain in your story, I'll be fine. Cause baby, you're mine too, yeah. I really love this chorus, especially how I sing it, because not everybody understands the words that are in it, but I feel like that goes off of a lot of things that I sing, or a lot of my music, I should say. It's just about midnight. It's kind of like taking back like that Cinderella story, and it's kind of like when the clock strikes 12, it's over. It's done. Like, I've had enough of this, right? Keep your goodbyes, I'll be all right. Pretty self-explanatory. Played your games, but they backfired. It's like they always thought that they could just like cheat on you and be with you and cheat on you and be with you, and you would just take it because, you know, you're in love. You have this facade of them that you want to keep. When I'm the villain in your story, I'll be fine. Because baby, you're mine too. It's like, I love when people really try to play it to other people that like you were the problem in the relationship, not them. And so that was kind of like my idea behind that. Like, when I'm the villain in your story and you can sit here and tell people that I fucked up and what I did wrong, whatever, I don't care, because you're my villain as well. Second verse. Hold my hand while looking over your shoulders. Phone in your pocket, airplane mode on while we're sleeping. Telling me I'm too insecure. How dare I accuse you of something more? Lies all adding up to nothing. Hold my hand while looking over your shoulders. Phone in your pocket, airplane mode on while we're sleeping. Telling me I'm too insecure. How dare I accuse you of something more? Lies all adding up to nothing. The second verse is literally where I live. I swear to God, it's like I put so much emphasis on my second verses because I really want them to kind of be better than the first. I want people to really like dive into the story more. And I feel like in this song, we kind of like take a peek into like what had happened throughout the relationship, right? So it's like when you're out in public and you're holding somebody's hand and they're constantly looking over their shoulders, like wondering who's looking and who's peeping the situation. It's like, that's just very telling of a person, you know? It makes me feel very like you're not comfortable either with me or you don't want to get caught doing something. And that's kind of where that is. When I tell you that this is something I actually fucking went through, okay? It was so diabolical. Like, to even have to go through this situation, Yeah, I am crazy. I'm that bitch that I will go through your phone. So yeah, I get why he might have put it in his pocket, but at the same time, why are people messaging you anyway? I mean, 47 people should not be messaging you while you're in a relationship. There's no reason to have it on airplane mode, right? Just saying. It's like they always have to hit you with like, this is your problem, not my problem. You're just projecting onto me. It's like very narcissistic, very gaslighting, very that, okay? Very now. Because it's like, I already know the game that you're playing. I already know. I've had these conversations either with the people that you're talking to when they find out that we're in a relationship or whatever, because it's not like it's hidden on your social media, even though you try to. But it's also like, you're telling me these empty promises, you know? It's like you're telling me that you're not doing stuff, but yet you're being all suspicious about it. It's like you're doing these things like putting your phone in your pocket and putting it on airplane mode. You're also holding my hand and looking over your shoulder. It's kind of like the lies come to zero. And then we get back into the chorus again. This bridge. Try to control me as your man. Try to divide me from my friends. Maybe you could give a damn, but you don't know how. Kept saying you had life to live. You only wanted to be open. But now that I'm missing, baby, you're all down. Try to control me as your man. Try to divide me from my friends. Maybe you could give a damn, but you don't know how. Keep saying you had left to live, but you only wanted to be open. But now that I'm missing, baby, you're all down. This, again, very personal. I feel like in these lyrics, it's like you're in a relationship where like the person's trying to manipulate you to do what it is that they want you to do and how they want you to maneuver to be able to fit their life and their narrative. Like, oh, I'm not out to my family. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not that. Like, my friends don't know. I just got out of a relationship with my ex and my ex doesn't need to know that I'm in a new relationship. Oh, I have this and that, blah, 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 all going on. It's like, again, just like the gaslighting and the manipulation and the narcissism. And then you have, you know, people trying to divide you from your friends and your family. I feel like that's something that people, when they don't have the best of intentions, they don't want to let anybody else in to see that, you know? They don't want people to understand the craziness that they're putting you through, you know? They want you to understand their story and their perspective, and that's it. They don't want you to get clarity from anybody else. It's like, they could care about you and they could put you first in the relationship and they could put you first in like how they're feeling in their thought process and this and that, but they're like they're so consumed with themselves that they could care less about how you're feeling. It's all about what benefits them the most. I just find it so funny how people are like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be monogamous, I want to be this and that, blah 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 blah, but yet they're out at the club every single night. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying? They're out at the club every night. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, I'm at home, I'm watching TV, I'm laying in bed, you're out partying it up, you're coming home smelling like alcohol and balls at this point. It's like, girl, what is happening? Like, literally, you smell like sweaty balls. You smell like you just left a locker, Charlie's. And then we close out the song with the chorus again, and that's Midnight. I really feel like writing this song was probably the biggest part of the healing process. There's also many times though that like I write songs and I don't heal from them and I continue to write. And this was actually one of those times as well. So this situation has become damn near close to a whole album. I think I've written like over 40 or 50 songs about this relationship. So yeah, that's just, you know, we're still healing. We're Pisces. So I really feel like there's a couple ways that I kind of go about writing music. Sometimes I'll write it without even having any kind of beat. Sometimes I'll write it with the beat already made. In this instance, I already had the beat. So what I did was I kind of just like sat there and I was like listening and listening and listening to music to kind of just like catch what the vibe was that I was feeling, and then like what kind of sat with me. And once I had that, then I started to write. And I think the first few things that actually came up to me were the chorus. So it was like, it's just about midnight. I just kept hearing that in my head when I was listening to the full instrumental, right? The full beat. And I was just like, it's just about midnight, right? And I was like, oh, that's so good. That's so like Michael Jackson of me, you know, to like put that out there. And I was like, then I was like thinking about like the song Game Is Over and like how I would kind of like touch back on that and like kind of what it would do. And I was like, oh, that would be kind of cute because these two songs kind of sound like one's like a more like evolved version of the other. And so I kind of wanted to tie that in. So yeah, it was more so in this process, finding the chorus first and then going back in and writing the rest of the story. And I kind of based the verses and the bridge off of the chorus. You know, it was kind of like I wanted to find that catchy hook that was going to be that one and then go from there and go back in. The rest of the song, though, like how I kind of went over the verses, I really took it from a very personal point because, again, the song felt personal. And so I wanted to tell my story without directly saying their name, even though I feel like it's very obvious. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of tell the story. And it was, you know, a lot of the songs that I write, they're very like in the moment. I can literally pinpoint the exact moment of what I was writing about, where I was, the imagery, everything. It's kind of like literally like a ripped page from my memory. So, yeah. So, honestly, so when I sat down listening to the songs that I had finished thus far for Metapsychosis, and I was putting together the songs for Liminal, I kind of just dove into it and I was like, I want to put the songs in order as to like when they were released. And so the remixes, or the ones at the end, I didn't want to put in order, but I wanted to put the rest of them in order. So you have Lies, Backstroke, What If I, and then Runnin'. They were like the singles that kind of came out of this album. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to release a new single, what would it be? And then I chose Midnight, and I was like, well, it'd be really cool because the vibe of the album is liminal space. You know, it's a point between two different periods, which is where I am right now, why the EP is so significant. But also the cover of the album, I wanted it to be very literal. So the cover of the album is dark blue, you know, very like eerie feel. Some might even say like it kind of gives like a like haunting vibe. But I feel like that's, you know, like not that I'm haunting, but the color is very me. I love blue. Blue is like my favorite color. And so I was like, okay, well, this kind of ties in with the album of, you know, space and time. And also midnight is a period of time. So I was like, okay, well, it would be cool if we put an extra track on there. It's the first song on the album that kind of like set the tone of it, or the EP. It sets the tone of it, and then it kind of just like tells the story. It's more like fitting for the EP itself visually, and it also gives you that audio response. All right, and that is it for this video, and we will see you next time. Bye.